here we are over at the Caring Place in Valparaiso, Indiana. I'm here with Joe and Dave. They're our tapers. They work for Specialties, and we're just going to go through a quick quality bulletin on the proper way of taping drywall. So as you can see here, he's putting the bed coat of mud on the wall prior to putting the paper tape on the wall. They use a product, it's an all-purpose, and it has a lot of adhesives in there. You can tell just by the weight of the buckets of taping compound, the green, the plus, or the all-purpose, is a lot heavier in a 5-gallon bucket versus the +3, which are on the next 2 coats of mud after the initial coat.
So you want to apply it with a 6-inch knife, wipe the tape accordingly, and then you want to let that set for a little bit, and then later on come back with a 10-inch knife, and we'll show you that step here in a second.
Okay, so here we are. We've moved to another area. You can see where the bed coat is already dried and it's ready to go with the second coat on there. So Joe's got a 10-inch knife now. He's gonna come in and make sure there's no blemishes in there and start running the second coat of mud in this area.
You might be able to notice the tape kind of shrunk after it dried. We'll put this coat on, and then when this dries, might have to touch the tape where it shrunk. So after the 10-inch knife, just wipe that, feather both sides. You want to make it nice and flat.
Okay, and the reason why that the tape shrink and suck into the seams and stuff, is that because of the adhesive itself drying out?
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Once it dries, it shrinks into the seam, and sometimes you can have a little crack or a little what do you call it, Joe? Just like
a ripple effect in there?
A ripple, just kind of like a wave. But you can just touch that up later after this 10-inch knife coat dries. And then we'll come back with a 12-inch knife for our final skim coat. You want to go over.
Okay. And this guys is considered a level 4 finish, a level 5 finish. If we did a level 5 finish, we'd be running that final skim coat over the entire face of the entire wall. And that's how you get to your highest level finish taping. So you're gonna know that by the specification in the spec book and what type of finish they're looking for in the particular project that you're affiliated with. So here we are, I'm showing you the 2 different types of taping compound that are used on most all of the projects. The green is the all-purpose. That's the product you use for the bed coat that has the additional adhesives in there. And the +3, they said that it has more perlite in there and less adhesive. So the all-purpose is designed to shrink and suck up into those joints and adhere to the cracks. Sometimes if the cracks are overly large, you may go ahead and pre-fill all that and let that set up before you go to put the first paper coat on there. And then the +3 has a lot less adhesive in there, and because of the perlite that's in there, it doesn't shrink anywhere near as much. Okay, so here we're looking at the actual finished product. Dave is going to come through and just talk about a few points on the sanding prior to turning this over to the painting contractor.
After we get through with the 10-inch knife, we want to come through with the 12. Pull it one more time. Make sure it's nice and level. And then we just want to go through and sand it. Get rid of all the edges if there's any on the edges, like over here.
Yeah.
And and then run your hand, make sure it's nice and level. And that's it. And you want to put 3 coats on the screws as well.
So one of the things that we want to make sure here is that that the seams are smooth. We want to make sure that we don't over sand it. If you do over sand it or don't use the right type of sandpaper on there, in this application you can what they call burn the paper, and what that does is it raises the grain in the fibers of the paper itself, and if you do it to an extent, it'll actually show through on the primer coat and the first coat of paint that you put on the wall. So thank you, Dave, for helping us out with this video. And that's your quality minute on taping.